love, healing, grace, gratitude, power, strength, serenity. I greet you with these words as we welcome you to another episode of Sins of the Father. I am your host, Ani I Am, and I'm here to just kind of walk you through my experiences and some of the things that I've been looking at and studying and kind of trying to gather as much information on as possible to share. The other day I was speaking about relationships and how these relationships are affected by the different things that we've gone through, our negative childhood experiences, which, some call trauma. And I as I always say, I like to kind of stay away from that word, trauma, as much as I possibly can. Because I think trauma is something that is intolerable, unbearable. And it etches itself into your psyche. It is something that literally etches certain pathways in your brain to always react to certain things a certain way until you get the healing or until you get the awareness to change that. So, in just understanding that, I wanted to be sure and certain that we take into consideration that we believe that we can be healed. We believe that those things that have happened to us can be corrected. We don't want to just accept that that's it, this is our lot, and we have to accept that, because I don't believe that at all. I believe that through knowledge of self, belief in your higher power, God, belief in the conscious collective, that we can heal. And it doesn't happen alone. It happens with a journey with other people, which is why I've decided to do my healing with you. Because this is not just for you guys. This is not something that I'm doing because I want to teach you guys a whole bunch of things or try to expound my knowledge or my wisdom onto you. I'm using this knowledge for myself because I need healing. Because I was I hate to use this word, but I don't have a better word. So if you have one, you can put it in the chat. I was a victim of negative childhood experiences. Lots of them. And being intuitive, it affected me probably more than it would have affected someone else, right? Because I absorbed those things. Those things meant things to me. Those interactions meant so much to me that it left huge impressions on my spirit, on my psyche, that it is now through the healing process of which I'm going through now that I realize how much of a impression it has left on me, because I'm now dealing with these things. I'm trying my best to, find way to, to overcome, to be able to function at a higher level with not only myself, but with my children, with my family, with my loved ones, and most importantly, with my children. I'm going to tell you that this is the main reason why I'm having these talks, is because I want to be able to heal my children and heal their children. Because the effects that I leave behind that don't get addressed will affect them, and they unbeknowingly will pass that on to their children because they don't have no awareness of it unless I tell them, right? So it is my responsibility, so to speak, to have this conversation, to share this wisdom, to do the research, to do the reading, to understand it at these different levels, right? That's my choice. So just going back to the other day, I was having a conversation on here and I was talking about how much our relationships are affected. And I'm talking about our adult relationships in regards to our spouse, our girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever that is, how much it's affected by what we have gone through, what we have experienced, what we have internalized, right? And I just say, it's imperative that we find the healing nature of wisdom to get us out of that, or to be aware of the things that have happened to us and how those things may be continually affecting our relationships. I wrote some notes down, and I'll probably look at them in a minute, but right now I'm just talking to you from my spirit, from what I feel and what I've gone through in my meditation today, which is that, we carry these suppressed feelings. So these things that may have happened to us in childhood, in our teenage years, whatever, and negative experiences are not just related to only childhood, because you can still go through this pain when you're 16, 18, 17, you know what I'm saying? Those teenage years, right? So, in thinking about it, I was saying, okay, when we are carrying these repressed feelings, because that's what they are, when we repress the things that happened to us as children, or when we were young, or whatever it is, right? When we repress those things, the amount of energy that it takes your brain, your system, your entire neurological system to suppress those memories that every time you hear, smell, see, taste something triggers you back to anger, back to helplessness. The amount of energy that takes is sucking the life force out of you from doing the good works that you are capable of, from you living to your fullest potential. It is affecting us, and I know it's like we may say, I'm good. Yeah, you successful, you doing these things, and eventually I'm going to talk to my entrepreneurs, because I am an entrepreneur. I have made large sums of money. I have been in business almost my entire life, and was never truly satisfied. And in me understanding how my relationships, my childhood relationships, and some of my adult relationships affected that, was one of the reasons why the money wouldn't satisfy me. The different things that I thought would make me happy didn't. And I suffered because of that. So I just want to be clear that, as now understanding these things, I'm looking at, and my talk is just really about relationships. So, you have a relationship with your lady, you have a relationship with your guy, and you wonder why you still feel alone sometimes. You got to go back and see, well, did my parents show me the affection and nurturing and the attention that I needed? And some of us to defend our parents and say yes, right? But you got to say, like, were there times when you felt abandoned or neglected or unheard? Because now that causes disconnect. That causes you to feel disconnected from certain people. But we got to change that, because we can. And everything I'm talking about is because I know that we can. This is nothing hypothetical. This is nothing, maybe we could do it, maybe we can't, maybe we can make it work. No, we can change those things that are detrimental to our being. We can. It's just a fact. This is what therapists do it every day, right? And I just want to be clear, I'm not a therapist, and I don't want to act in any capacity of a therapist. I just want to act in the capacity of a man who is sharing my story, my journey, with others who may have like journeys, or who may have like questions that they want to kind of understand, right? And that's all I want to do. I want to share with you as much as I possibly humanly can, so that we could grow, that we can find common ground, similar stories that we can bounce to each other and talk with each other about, in hopes of being able to heal, even in the slightest way. The slightest way. Because I want to be clear. I'm not talking about, you're going to get a healing and it's going to be over and that's going to be it. I want to be clear with that. There's no magic pixie dust that's coming down to erase all that we've been through for the last 40, 50 years, 30 years on this planet. It's just not going to happen. It's going to take work. It's going to take effort. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take diligence. But we all have it within us. And collectively, we have it even in a more abundance. This is why I want to do this with others. I don't want to try to do this by myself or with just me and a therapist. I'm not afraid of I'm going to take that back. Because there are some things I'm afraid of in my past that I don't bring up. And maybe through this time of us talking, I will reveal and talk about certain things that have happened with me, trauma-wise, because there has been a lot of things that has happened with me, a lot of violence, things of that nature, a lot of aggression, a lot of abandonment. And I can see that surfacing in my relationships with my spouse at the time, with my, my girlfriends from, years ago, and even with my children. I can see myself disconnect from them in ways that doesn't make me feel comfortable. And I want to avoid that for you and for them. I'm being straight as possibly can. I want to avoid that for them. I don't ever want them to be in a situation where they feel that disconnected from me. And then they go and they do it with their children. Unbeknowingly to themselves, they just don't really connect with their children properly because they're so busy chasing a bag. They're so busy trying to be, successful. They're so busy trying to work on themselves that they neglect unintentionally their own children. We don't want to do that. We don't want to repeat none of these cycles. These cycles are dysfunctional and detrimental to the growth of our community. It is detrimental to our community. It is detrimental to the success of being your greatest self. You cannot be your greatest self in this type of a situation. It just is not going to work, right? You need to heal those things. This is why it's so important that we get down to the root, because you could cut out cancer, right? But if you don't get to the root of it, it just doesn't work that way. There's a combination that has to happen. Two things have to happen simultaneously or in sequence. Things have to happen simultaneously and in sequence, because this is like, to me, one of the most important healings that ever need to be done. More so than you going to the hospital and getting, whatever, a tetanus shot or COVID shot or whatever you're getting, right? There is nothing that damages you more than mental anguish that is unhealed, unacknowledged. What you think about that? There is nothing that is more important than having a strong mental fortitude. And the way you get strong mental fortitude is understanding the attacks on your mental fortitude, understanding the stigmatisms that you are up against. We have to take into consideration all of those things, and especially, like I said, now with, this being, we're coming up on the season of, what do you call it? Valentine's Day soon, right? Another, 3 weeks, something like that. And you got so many dysfunctional couples running around saying they love each other, but they're not even loving themselves properly. They're not even loving themselves yet because they hiding from trauma that they're embarrassed of, that they're ashamed of. They're ashamed of things that may have happened to them in their past. They're ashamed of, being touched by the, God forbid, and I don't even want to, even try to play on that subject, because I think that shit is so serious that I would never take that, lightly, right? So in just being cautious, I just want to say, for those people, I'm praying for you to find this healing. I'm praying for you to come to an awareness. I am praying for you to find that. I'm praying for you to be able to forgive yourself. I am praying for you to be able to forgive your parents. I am praying for you to be able to forgive anyone that has wronged you and not have to bear that alone. Like not have to suffer in silence because you don't want to be hurt or you don't want to expose someone in your life. Your mother will forgive you. If they're mature parents, if they're mature at this point, they'll understand that they may have made some mistakes. And sometimes it ain't even about even throwing it in their face and making them understand it. Sometimes it's necessary to have a conversation. I tried to have these conversations with my parents, both of them who are deceased at this point, unfortunately. But I tried to have a conversation because I thought it was important enough that I had answers. Because I was an innocent child. When you think about it, I was innocent. And I didn't understand everything. Right? So, in that, I felt that I needed answers. Some of them I got, some of them I didn't, and some of them I got and I didn't like. But at least it gave me an understanding so as not to blame myself, or not even to blame my spouse, or my girlfriends that I was with, or my children, or to blame God. Because, sometimes we say, God, how could you do this to me? You leave me in this situation, blah, 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 blah. Because we're looking for something. We're looking for an answer. That's when you start blaming people, when you don't have the response, when you don't have the accountability within you and accountability of the people that you're around, you find people to blame. And we want to avoid that, right? Because there's no healing in that. There's no love in that. There's no awareness in that. There's nothing that you get from that that's going to really help change you and that you could pass down to your children. Because you can't pass blame down to your children. That's not wisdom. That's not health. That's not tools to heal themselves. You showing them blame ain't doing nothing but teaching them blame. Right? You teaching them how to blame. That's not winning, and that's not healthy. So we want to make sure that we are giving them the tools to heal. That we are giving them the tools to be successful in their journey of self-realization. This is super important. I don't want to slip over that point. It's huge. It's huge that we are aware. It's huge that we are aware of these things that have happened and what they're doing to us and how they're affecting us. Because I know that all of us want to be successful human beings. Every one of us want to feel loved, and we want to be able to love. And in order to love genuinely, there were certain things that you got to have out the way. There were certain obstacles that have to be taken care of for you to feel that love. It's just the truth. There's certain things that have to be felt for you to take care of that love, for you to share that love. And this is part of what this is about, because for me, I know that, my I don't want to call it mission, but it is my mission. Part of my mission is to be an example of healing. And like I said, this is nothing altruistic that I'm trying to, say that I got the answers for. This is a labor of love for me, for my family. My children, I want them to be healthy. Like, I want them to be solid. And you could tell your children you love them. And I made a podcast episode about that. You could tell your children you love them all day long, but it's a lot that goes into love. Love is work. Love is acknowledgement. Love is truth. Love is reciprocated in ways that require action consistently. So I want you to consider that when we talk about, love, and you want your children to be loving, you want your children to be kind. Yeah, they could be all of those things, but there could be deficiencies, because I'm telling you that I have had these traumas. I've loved my children. I know for a fact I love my children. I love my family. I love my parents. I love people, but I know that the love was still a sadness inside the love. Because the love doesn't erase the sadness. No, it just kind of covers it like an umbrella. The love just becomes so huge and so passionate. It's just, it is what it is. But in reality, we gotta say that it's bigger than that. It's bigger than just that. Love to me is action verb. It's not a thing. It's not a feeling. It's an action verb. It's work to be done in love. And part of the work is healing yourself in order for you to love somebody unconditionally. For you to love somebody truly, deeply, unaltered, just real, true, genuine love. We need that. And I pray truthfully that we get that through our talks and walks, that we find a way to get that we find a way to express that internally to ourselves. Because this is not about any type of braggadocio, any type of bigging up your chest and pushing yourself out to act like you've done it already, you've done the work. This is to be humble and vulnerable and to say, I want my relationships to be stronger, to be better, to be genuine, to be, healthy, productive. And I'm being honest with you, the only way we get to that point is to first heal ourselves. I know everybody uses this, so I'm gonna use it too. What does the airplane say? What do they say on the airplane? Put your mask on first before you try to save anybody. You can't save nobody until you save yourself, or you're both gonna die. And in this sense, you both gonna be in pain. You and your spouse. I told a couple that I had the privilege of speaking to prior to them getting married. I said that one of the greatest things that y'all could do for your marriage is to go and get therapy before you get married, before y'all bond together. Find out what are the triggers that your husband has, and you need to find out what triggers your wife has. You need to really sit down with a therapist and talk and uncover what are the things that drive you? What are the things that cause you to move left and right? What are the things that triggers your mind during certain events? Because you want to be aware, because then with that knowledge, you can avoid doing things that is going to hurt your spouse. Because if not, you know what you do? You'll do the exact things that's going to hurt your spouse because you don't know what those things are. You'll do exactly what's going to hurt you because you want to know why? It'll look like love. It'll look like your version of love. It'll look like, we good. It'll look like I'm loving on him. But that might not be what he needs, and it might just be, and it could be not what she needs. When you're doing it, homie, when you're doing it, brother, when you are reaching out to her, when you are touching her, you don't know those past experiences yet, because she might not tell you those. She might be ashamed of even expressing to you certain things that may have happened to her, been said to her when she was a young girl. And now here it is, you doing the same goddamn thing and thinking that she likes it. And she might not tell you because she's so ashamed, and then you wondering why she not affectionate, why she not reciprocating this energy that you think you giving her. Girl, I'm loving on you all the time, and this is how you don't respond this way, you don't respond. Do you wonder why? Is there a possibility you want to know why? Because you're not addressing the real issues that she's dealing with. Everybody talk about they want to be king and a queen and all this other stuff, man. We can't be that until we acknowledge certain things. And I'm talking about a spiritual king and queen. I ain't talking about the just talking to be talking nonsense, right? I'm talking about we really feel like, and I really feel like we can be. So I'm not knocking that. I'm saying I really feel like we can and we are internally have the ability to be at our highest self, so to speak. But it's going to require work, family. It's going to require work, family. And I'm ready to do the work. And I'm ready to do the work personally so y'all can see it in real time. And hopefully, I'm growing as I'm talking. I'm growing as I'm talking. I'm growing as I'm researching. As I'm researching this material, as I'm reading these books, from prominent psychologists and prominent psychotherapists. I'm reading them and trying my best to understand them and be able to internalize some of the information so that I could shoot it back to the family and hope that in turn, you grasp one nugget lifts you up. All praise is due to the Most High. All praise is due to the Most High. If one nugget lifts you up out of your position and gives you any awareness that you could share with your children, your family, your loved ones, then I feel like my work is being done. And that's why I ask you, please comment. Anything that I say, whether right or wrong, comment on it. Help me to be better. I don't want to profess to have all the answers for nothing. So help me to be better by commenting. I ask you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's very important to me because it lets me know that people are hearing this message. It lets me know that people care about the message that I'm giving. It lets me know that what I'm going through, that I have to touch on my pain all this time, and I have to go through these conversations with myself is worthwhile to somebody because somebody hears it. So again, I say, please, family, like, share, and subscribe. Any comments, I appreciate them. Please reach out. Let me know if there's anything that I can do or talk about that will help anyone. And again, we leave with love, light, healing, power, strength. These are the words of affirmation that I want to leave everybody with. Grace, gratitude, forgiveness, kindness. Peace, family. Again, this is your podcast, Sins of the Father, and I'm your host, Ani I Am, and I pray to see you next time. Peace.